Hello, my name is Aisa Mustafa, and I'm currently a teacher at John Paul College in Kalgoorlie, where I teach English and HAS. First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking time and reviewing my application for provisional registration. Thank you, I really appreciate that. Um, we are currently on school holidays, so I'm just recording this video from home. Hopefully, my kids will be kind enough not to interrupt my video and make me restart all over again. Just fingers crossed. Well, there's something I want to show in this video, a short journey, how my family and I came to Australia, and just a bit of insight of why I decided to become a teacher and what I'm currently doing at the moment here. So I've been a teacher for 17 years now. Before moving to Australia, I was also an English teacher in Albania. However, English is a second language in Albania. Um, the reason why I think I decided to become a teacher was mainly, I believe it was something born, which came naturally. Is when I look back on my childhood, I always remember myself pretending to be a teacher when I used to play with my peers in the neighborhood. And it was not something that someone forced me to do that. It just came naturally. And later on, maybe my mother, who noticed this kind of born quality of being a teacher, just suggested that I pursue teaching as a future career. And that's what happened. I became a teacher. I've always been a teacher since I finished university. And to be honest, I really love my job. I love seeing my students grow up, not only academically, but also emotionally. And I don't think I'd be able to continue any other profession apart from teaching. One specific feature I think that has made me remain and last in this difficult, challenging journey in teaching is that I've got the patience to do this job as it needs to be done. Well, I'm going to explain just a bit on how my family and I decided to come here in Australia. It all started in October 2023 when my family and I were given the opportunity to move here and start a new chapter of our lives in this wonderful country. We consider ourselves to be blessed to be here. So coming to Australia was a dream come true. We spent like 5 or 6 years working towards achieving this goal, and we went through a lot of test qualifications. Well, I did, because I was the main applicant, not the rest of the family. I was the one who had to carry all the weight on my shoulders and make this dream come true. It was such a long, difficult journey, but I think the main reason why we're here is because we never gave up, and we believe that one day would be able to come and work, live in this blessed country. Of course, I will always be grateful to the principals of John Paul College who believed in me, who gave me the opportunity to come and work here. They not only changed our lives, but also gave me the chance to grow up professionally. I still remember the day when our visas were granted. To be honest, we were all just over the moon. Because we have been waiting for so long for that moment. I do remember I woke up early in the morning because Australia is just 7 hours ahead from Albania. And I found the text message from my lawyer, who was asking me to just give him a ring whenever I could. To be honest, at the moment, I just froze because I would never have thought that our visa was being granted so fast. It was nearly 36 hours since our application was lodged, and I didn't realize that it would take just 24 up to 36 hours for our visas to be granted when we have been waiting for such a long time. At the moment, I thought maybe a bad news was coming up, so I just sat down and I said, should I ring him now or maybe later? Then I said, if you have to face this, Aisa, you have to face it immediately. So I just gave a call to my lawyer, and that was a total turning point in everything. When he mentioned that I've got grateful news for you guys, your visas have been granted. And at the moment, I was so embarrassed, so overwhelmed, and so full of emotions that I thought I couldn't understand English anymore. So I just asked him to repeat again because I couldn't believe my ears, what I was hearing. Even though at the time we were happy, we were flabbergasted for that amazing news that we got, we were also nervous. We were about to move to a completely different continent and far away from our family, friends, and relatives. We didn't have anyone here. We didn't even know about Kalgoorlie. It was just 3 or 4 months before we moved here that we started Googling and finding out about the place. So it was challenging moving straight from Albania to Kalgoorlie. And although my sister and brother-in-law, who are in Australia, however, they live on the other side of, in the east, have been here, and they, in kind of way, they have prepared us of the way how we could move and live here. The expectation with the reality, to be honest, was far away different from what we have imagined. The beginning was tough. So the first year was very difficult. For me personally, it was even harder for the children as well. However, I can't say the same for my husband because he is always emotionally stronger than us, and he handled the transition better than we did. The other thing that I want to mention was that apart from everything being different, one of the biggest challenges for me was adapting to a different culture. That was probably the hardest part, both professionally and personally. And even though I had been teaching for many years in Albania in a school, however, the school environment and the students' behavior were way too different from what I've been used to. So there were many moments where I felt overwhelmed. There were many afternoons when I came home in tears and questioned whether all the sacrifices had been worth it, or even if this was the life we have been dreaming of. However, every morning I got up, I went back to school, and I gave the best to my students, even though it was not easy at the beginning and during the first year. The most difficult thing for teaching, apart from technology, because in Albania we still use paper-based documents, and usually all things are handwritten. So another challenge for me was technology. However, once you get used to it, I think that is a life changer. Apart from this, at the beginning, students saw me as very different from the teacher that they were used to. Even though they have different teachers from different cultures, from South Africa, from Fiji, from India, and other places, I was and I still am the only European teacher there. So they saw me differently. And it took them time in order to get used to my way of teaching, or me getting used and adapted to their way of behaving and learning how to manage class behaviors. For instance, there were a few things that I still remember. They asked me at the beginning. For instance, they would ask me why I used to drink coffee in those small cups of coffee that are usually common in Europe, because in Australia you know that people usually drink from those big cups of coffees filled with milk. However, my coffee was totally different from theirs, and they would say that this is not a coffee, this is not the way how we drink coffee here. And something else that they would also ask was like, why do you wear makeup when you come to school? Or sometimes they would ask me like questions, what made you come to Australia? Why did you come straight here to Kalgoorlie? And of course, when I started to explain that Albania is an amazing place, a beautiful place, however, not a good place to live because it's not safe, first of all. And another major reason was, of course, economical reasons. That was when they would just say, well, you are rich. Why did you come here? Look at your outfits. You look rich. And at the time, I understood that their perspective was totally different from my perspective, because in Albania, people do wear makeup, people do care about their outer appearance, the way how they represent themselves, and it doesn't mean that you need to be rich in order to look nice and presentable. But these were all changes that I went through, and I think I have succeeded so far. Because in Europe, taking pride in how you present yourself is simply part of everyday life, and it just happens across. It's not just for one or two people here. As I mentioned, my first year was very challenging. The cultural differences were significant. But so were the different teaching methods, as the way how we organize, learn, plan the lessons here is totally different from what we do in Albania. In Albania, as I mentioned, we still rely on those paper-based system and handwritten documentation. However, thankfully, I was surrounded by some wonderful colleagues who supported me every step of my way. During the first month, I was given the opportunity to observe some experienced teachers before stepping fully into teaching classrooms. And this helped me understand a lot on the lesson structure, how to plan, prepare, and deliver the lessons, classroom managements, and all the expectations of the Australian schools. Now, I am on the third year here in Australia, teaching in the same college at John Paul College. Things feel much easier. I am more confident, of course, with teaching, classroom management, technology, and understanding the culture around me. Most importantly, I feel that I've built a strong relationship with my students, which is the main thing before you start teaching, because I believe you can't be a good teacher without first building up that bond or relationship with the students, which is very important here in Australia. Their attitude towards me is now very different from what it used to be in the past. They often show their appreciation through small gestures. Some of them just leave notes or postcards on my desk because some of them are shy and they do not express themselves just out loud. So this is another way of them showing appreciation. The messages that I get every day, like, thank you for being my teacher. Thank you for listening and not judging to us. Thank you for being the reason we come to school, mean the world to me. So those are the moments I live for as a teacher now. And now, when my husband and I look back on everything we went through, we sometimes laugh about it. He often said that if we manage to overcome all the challenges and succeeded, then there is nothing we cannot achieve in the future. And sometimes I do think that he's right, because everything we have achieved is on what we have done. And sometimes when I feel just down or stressed out, I just try to remind myself of all the process that I have gone through and I've made it. And it's just like a strength or force that drives me in every day here. As I previously mentioned, I feel incredibly blessed and grateful. I'm here. Australia has given our family the opportunity we once dreamed about, and I am proud of how far we have come. Thank you again for taking time listening to my story. I hope I haven't been or sounded boring in all the story of my journey here and transition in Australia. Just thank you so much for everything you're doing. See you.